What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams with The Distance. I'm here to give you my number one, my top five series for this week, for my top five matchups for 2009. My number five was Juan Manuel Lopez versus Rogers and Tagwe. My number four is Ryan Rose versus Jamie Moore. My number three is Bernard Dunn versus Ricardo Cordoba. And my number two was Juan Diaz versus Juan Manuel Marquez. My number one is a matchup that a lot of people haven't seen, I guess, because a lot of people were out that night. Me, when all the trick or treating was done and over with, this matchup came on, and overall it was a great, exciting matchup. And I think it's on YouTube. It's in Spanish, I believe. But overall, this is an exciting matchup. It was dubbed as the Halloween Thriller. This is Joseph Agbeko versus Yhonny Perez, IBF Bantamweight Championship. It was a spectacular fight. Both fighters kept beating at the center of the ring and just kept exchanging. Really, honestly, I thought it was meant to be a one-sided affair for Agbeko, because I never heard of Perez. I really haven't. I never heard of Perez and never seen Perez fight, but I've seen Agbeko fight a few times. I saw him fight Darchinyan. I saw him in a couple fights on Versus. That's all I've seen of Agbeko. But I thought Agbeko was going to win the match. I thought really it was a showcase for him, or was intended to be a showcase for him, because Showtime was now giving him his opportunity, because he had just defeated Vic Darchinyan, and Darchinyan is a big Showtime fighter. So since he beat Darchinyan, I thought, hey, Showtime's gonna give this guy a chance and an opportunity to shine on this big platform against Perez. And Perez, to me, I thought that personally, I thought Agbeko was gonna go in and he was gonna take out Yhonny Perez, because Perez is a tall bantamweight, and we know the story about taller fighters. A lot of the taller fighters didn't get hit too often, so their chins sometimes never held up too well. Like back in the day with Tommy Hearns, tall fighter, chin wasn't too good. And I guess because some of these guys have to reach up and hit them and stuff, and they just don't get hit that much on the chin because they're facing smaller fighters and smaller weight divisions and stuff like that. So but it's like this: anybody could get caught, just fine on the chin and get knocked out. So anyway, this matchup in the first round, I just remember both the fighters were just catching each other flush on the chin, and really it was the story of the whole matchup was the exchanges. I'm not gonna go in the round detail, because the same thing happened in every round. Both fighters kept going to the center of the ring, and they were just throwing shots and exchanging, wailing away and whatever. And it was like, and really it was very hard to score, because rounds like in the first round, Agbeko landed a few flush shots on the chin of Perez, and then Perez would land a few flush shots on Agbeko, and then at the very end of the round, Perez landed a shot that actually buckled Agbeko, or actually stunned him a bit, and it kind of made him stop his attack, because Agbeko is a fighter that likes to throw power shots, and both of them were throwing power shots at each other, and Perez just kept getting the better of him. And really with this fight, it was very hard to score, just because they just got into like even amounts of exchanges. There was like no basics, no fundamentals or anything. It was just two men center of the ring slugging it out for a total of 12 rounds. And at this pace, I was surprised that at the pace that both these men were fighting in, that there was no knockout in the fight. Out of all these fights, this one, other than Lopez and Tagwe, went the full 12, but they went 12 rounds of just slugging it out. So and there was like and I remember there were times when Perez would fade. It would seem like he would fade, and he didn't want to. And he wouldn't exchange with Agbeko, and Agbeko would kind of just stalk him and start hitting him. But then in like round like 7 and 8, Perez came back and threw and started to throw more, and they got back into the exchanges and stuff. And I think what was winning Perez the matchup was the exchanges. He got the better out. He got the better out of the exchanges. Like he would start the exchange, and then he would end the exchange. I think that's what was winning them points. Was the fact that he was winning exchanges. There was like a knockdown, like in the 9th or 10th round, from Agbeko. I think it's funny because he headbutted Perez early in the fight. Who knows if it was accidental or not? He did headbutt him, and then he went down on a headbutt, and it was ruled a knockdown. He was actually complaining because I guess he couldn't see after the headbutt, but anyway, the matchup was overall slugfest. A slugfest with the smaller weight divisions. They fought at a very fast pace, and they fought with a lot of intensity. This matchup was pretty much a full all-out brawl. It was more of a matchup that was based on heart rather than boxing ability. It was just who could take more, who could land more. That's the type of fight that it was. But anyway, that was a lot of people do have number one as Marquez versus Diaz or Mtagwe versus Lopez, but overall this was my number one matchup. I don't know if it was because I was drunk when I saw the matchup and it excited me, but overall this was my number one matchup. I thought it was just my favorite matchup to watch in 2009 back on Halloween. It was just overall it was just pure excitement. And if you guys get the chance, check out this fight because the action, because both men, they just don't stop throwing. Both men just continue to throw the whole fight, and they continue to get in exchanges, which is the overall exciting part of the bout. Was the exchanges. But anyway, that's my number one matchup for this week. I will be back with my top 5 welterweights in probably in a couple weeks. But anyway, that was the distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.